Welcome back, you filthy exiles. I have done a bit of time in this build tonight, probably about 4 or 5 hours. I did actually farm up to Cyrus and had Cyrus drop Awakener Orb and whatever, so I managed to get like 6x off that, and I threw that straight at this build, and I'm not disappointed with the end result. The damage numbers off this now, I've got the configuration page open here so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Nothing weird tick. We have summoned a totem recently, but it doesn't do anything. We have 7 totems, so we'll leave that out. We got Shaper Guardian DPS, 7 stacks of Wither, and we'll talk about how we get Wither. Nothing else ticked, because it doesn't apply. 1.356 million DPS per totem. That's all primary projectiles. 226k per projectile. As you can see at the start, all those bosses were T14 and T16 bosses. This thing can melt Cyrus. It can melt pretty much anything, given that you can survive. And currently, this tree that I've got here, which I'll put in the POB, actually has more survivability built into it. But it's just disgusting. And in the B-roll, I should note that I hadn't actually started using this cluster here, but we'll talk about this very shortly. So, how am I pushing these damage numbers? What am I doing? What's my gearing? What did I do in 24 hours that I actually, what I do in 4 hours compared to the video I uploaded last night, that's different. Well, let's go into the client. So, first of all, I switched from dual wand to wand and shield. The reason for this is the shield that I'm running gives me 1+ to maximum number of summoned totems. Gives me my supplement for resist, a little bit of spell damage, and life. All you need. This shield cost me, I think, like 80 chaos, roundabouts, yeah. So this is a little bit more investment, but we're moving up from last night. We were doing like T12s last night, now we're doing T16s. And we're doing Cyrusing. So this is how quick this scales. And honestly, I wish every build bloody scaled like this in the game. Because quite frankly, this has actually made this a lot more fun. I'll be honest with you, this is a really fun build. When things are dying and you can actually play the game without having to struggle your way through it, the game is a lot more fun. And it makes it easier. It's still hard. You still have to earn the balancing, but there's a bit of expertise that goes into that, and you don't get disappointed when it doesn't work. So gearing wise, and this is not end gear at all. Helm, still Viridian's Veil, still no enchant on the helm, so that's just as it is. Amulet, I'm just using an amulet that gives me like crit multi, life, and some chaos resist. I've also got rolled on here 5% damage recouped as mana, and there's a specific reason why I've got this roll on here. I managed to get my 6 length soul mantle, which is really cool, and I'll talk about gem setups very shortly. Ring, just a Vermilion ring. This gives me more life with all resist roll on it, and I've also just done a quick craft on it to get more life onto it. Not the best roll on that craft, could be 4 HP higher, but I'm not losing sleep over that. Same essence worm that we had last night, no change. Boots, I am using Torch Oak Step. This is really good for placement speed if you're not running multi-totem, to get that additional sort of speed when you're dropping totems around the map. And also totems reflect 25% of the maximum life as fire damage to nearby enemies when hit, so it just does a little bit more reflect damage. Whether or not that even works with the totem skills having void manipulation, I'm not entirely sure, but doesn't really matter either way. Gloves, pretty much just all resist and a bit of spell damage. These are really crap gloves and I need to replace them, but just an example of the crazy ass shit that you can do at this type of build when skills actually scale and give you a bit of power. Belt, just all resist belt, a percentage increased damage roll and a shitload of life to try and get this life pool up, because we're probably going to get to 4100, 4200, and we'll probably end just shy of 5k EHP. So wand wise, just same wand as I had last night. Critical strike chance, crit multi, cast speed, and some spell damage. Pretty much it, really basic. That's it for gearing. And flask wise, just got a Quicksilver flask, Diamond flask. I did get a Dying Sun. These are like 22 chaos. I've just got a life flask with staunching on it so I can stop bleed and corrupted blood. And I am running a mana flask because that's just a safety net with this, because we do use mana as a damage layering sort of thing. So gem setups in the helm. I'm running Stormbrand with Despair and Hex Touch on hit, so I can proc Despair. So when I go to a boss, I queue my Stormbrand, that then hits, and then basically, yeah, you do the math. Do have Culling Strike on this. I'm not entirely sure if Culling Strike, it seems to work, weirdly. I'm not too sure why, because Brand shouldn't do damage, but it works. I'm not going to question that. In the wand, I am running Vortex, I'm running Hex Touch support again, and I'm running Temporal Chains. So the reason why I can't do any damage with the Vortex, but as I'm running around maps, this is dropping Temporal Chains, and so when enemies do crowd around you, it gives you a lot more chance of surviving. This is just yet another damage layer that you can add into the build. In the shield, I'm running Flame Dash, Arcane Surge, and Second Wind, obviously, just to get that Arcane Surge proc in there. In the chest, Forbidden Rite, Void Manipulation, Cruelty, which seems to be the go-to for all the builds that are running this at level 100. Faster casting in my case. You can run volley support, which I might switch to. I'm going to try it. I like faster casting. You cast a lot, you kill shit really quickly, bosses go down really quickly, it's really good. Increased critical strike support and increased critical damage support, so that gets you through there. In the boots, and I'm not done with this yet, I've run out of chromes like usual. So we're running Spell Totem with multiple totems, and we're running Wither, and we'll run faster casting as an end result. So this means you cast your Wither totems, you have your 5 Forbidden Rite totems, you have 7 totems, and then this is how you're going to generate your Wither stacks, because while you're attacking things, these totems are going to, or while other totems are attacking things, these totems are going to hit Wither. Wither slows the enemy and basically increases the amount of chaos damage taken per stack, which is really good. In my gloves, cast when damage taken setup, so obviously increased duration, cast when damage taken is just a level 2 setup. Steel Skin and also Frost Shield. This is just yet another damage layer. And obviously Zealotry in the Essence Worm. And that's pretty much it for gem setup. Really basic setup. Nothing crazy, nothing to lose sleep over. So in the tree, what have I done? I have added cluster jewels into the tree. So no real change from last night. Now, the interesting thing, the way that I've went with this is actually to generate self-damage or damage regenerating mana, which is a defensive layering. So basically we're running Dynamo. And what this does is guard skills have increased duration, which means Steel Skin pops a lot more. You recover 1% of mana, 10% of mana over 1 second when your guard skill pops. And we're going to also use mana and guard skill cooldown recovery, and this means that we're going to get 20% increased cooldown recovery rate, and this is in the POB, so this means our mana is going to regenerate a lot more. This is actually a really good thing, because we use Mind over Matter. So 30% of damage is taken before mana, and we also use Divine Guidance, which means 10% of damage is taken from mana before life, which means that you've got about 40% coming out of your mana pool. Now, you're taking damage to your mana pool, and you're like, oh shit, I can't regenerate mana. There's a way around this. So Battle Rouse. So 10% of damage taken is recouped as mana. So basically, you're not going to get all that mana back, but as you take damage and that's hitting your mana pool, and 10% of the damage that you're taking to your life pool, you're regenerating your mana pool, coupled with the 5% of damage taken recouped as mana that I've crafted onto my amulet, gives you a pretty good bloody defensive layer. It's not perfect, and it's not foolproof, but considering we're running around with a pretty low life pool, we just need to survive long enough for that mana pool to regenerate. And I find in most circumstances, I may almost come close to death, but I pull through because it regenerates quickly enough that if I take that little bit additional damage, my mana pool regenerates and gives time for my health pool to regenerate. The other thing I should note, I'm also running Surging Vitality. So by the time my mana pool regenerates, I've hit that 8%, every 4th second, and 10% of my life regenerates over 1 second. Now we're going to double stack this so we get 20% of my life over 1 second regenerating as well. So we'll have that running on this side. That'll get our pool to 4100 HP, and then we'll basically have, as I take damage, my mana will take part of that damage. That will then restore the mana as the damage is taken to mana and to life. So then the mana then self-restores. And then our life then procs 20% of my total life regenerates every 4th second, which basically means that there's a few layers of damage. Also on top of that, we've got the got temporal chains running on a vortex setup. We've also got wither totems, which are slowing enemies down, and we're also going to be running snaring spirits, which means totems hinder enemies near when summoned with 25% reduced movement speed. So basically, we're going to lockstep enemies around me so that they can't get to me. And if they do get to me and they hit me, then my mana, as I take damage to that pool, self-regenerates so I can continue to take that damage and take the brunt off my health pool. And obviously we have a bit of ES as well, just to, icing on the cake. That's pretty much how the damage layering in this build works, at least the way that I've got it working. I went through like a lot of different trees, and a lot of people have done it all different ways depending on the gearing. This is a cheaper way to deal with taking damage. This being said, you still, you're not going to be able to take absolute one hits from bosses and things like that at this stage, at least where I've got it right now. But this is working for me, and I can do T16s, I can have a lot of fun, and yeah, as an overall, I'm actually really enjoying this build. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's the update. I'm going to keep playing this. I'm actually really just enjoying this build. The biggest thing is the melee builds are going to rip your bloody wrist apart. A lot of other builds are just bricked and really hard to balance. A lot of other builds require crazy amounts of currency to get to any point of power, and a lot of other builds just take a lot of theory crafting to reconsider the approach to potentially it may or may not work. I've played a fair few builds this league. By far, this and Shield Crush are the two most fun. I love the Shield Crush build. This is just way easier than Shield Crush though, because it just cheeses enemies and scales really easily. Tried a few other skills out on the totems, and honestly, this just Forbidden Rite just works the best. I really hope they don't nerf this, but it's pretty much inevitable that the approach GGG takes to any skill that we find is just really powerful, is to nerf it. The alternative is they could give us some more power in the other skills, and that would be really nice, but it's unlikely they're going to do that. Anyway, I'm digressing. That's pretty much my update of this build. Really enjoying it, really fun. If you've been struggling this league, this is a good build to switch to finish your challenges or work through the rest of the league and farm up currency, and then you can maybe play that build that you've been waiting to play. If you want to get the Cyrus, farm the shit out of Cyrus, get some Awakener's Orbs, sell those off, make a heap of currency and exalts. That's one way you could go about it. Plenty of different ways to do it, but yeah, that's one method that I generally use because it's really quick to clear the map. Anyway, if you like this video, like and sub. Don't forget to comment and share your thoughts. And until next time, bye.